This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Country sensation Hardy is bringing the Jim Bob World Tour to Somerset Amphitheater. Catch him when he takes the stage August 16th with special guests Co Wetzel, Steven Wilson Jr., and Sikarish. Limited tickets are still available. Get the details now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Past Common Man program. I'm Common East Tennessee. Hour number 2, we kick it off with 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
The new Twins bullpen couldn't hold on to the lead as the Twins lost 6-3 last night in Detroit. Ryan Jeffers, Trevor Larnach, and Matt Wallner all hit solo home runs. Travis Adams got the start, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits over 5 innings.
Trav Adams.
But the 3-2 lead was extinguished in the 6th inning as Noah Davis gave up 3 runs, including a 2-run homer to Kerry Carpenter. Common, what sticks out to you from last night's Twins loss?
Well, it's no shame to have a home run hit by Kerry Carpenter. He's one of the better ball players on that Tigers club. He's pretty good. So I think any reliever could give up a homer. I sound like a Twins apologist now, don't I? Who's this Adams kid? Why have I never heard of him? But did I miss him somewhere along the line?
Half our team is pretty new.
Right. But, so he's brand new. He is one of the brand new ones to the club. Sounds like we got a star in the making there. That's a nice outing. Well, it is. How many?
Well, he gave up 2 runs.
Yeah.
And it was on a 2-run homer. And Ryan Jeffers, the catcher, said it was the only mistake he made all day. And actually, it wasn't even really a mistake. It was a really good pitch.
Yeah. So there you go. I like it. I guess that's what stands out is it looks like there's another arm there. I think Lavelle pointed it out there. The starting. The problem is when he talks about the staff, I think you really want to stop after you go. Lopez, Ryan, maybe Ober, then he lists all the others like if they're just shoo-ins as great starters. I just don't understand that. Zebby Matthews, he's had his ups and downs. Who's the other? Who are those other? Simeon
Woods Richardson. He's on the IL.
Yeah, he's not. He's just got these guys like locked in, like they're just mainstays. They're going to be here for years and years because they're so good. I've yet to see that. It's Matthews and Festa. He has Festa listed in there. It's like, well, those guys are okay, but I haven't seen it where I go, these guys are surefire, lockdown starters. They're going to give you 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 starts. They're going to give you quality starts. I haven't seen that from any of these guys yet. This Adams guy's, he might be the next best pitcher on the club right now. But then if you do believe in your starting staff, you add a couple of bullpen guys, get the new ownership to spend a couple of bucks on some free agents, and we're talking, do you like parades, Tenneby?
I love parades.
It's not that hard to rebuild the club. There's too much panic in this town regarding the Twins. Way too much.
I think they're going to be bad for a while.
They might be, but they might not under new ownership. New ownership might be saying, I want to win, and I want to win now. If they get sold.
Question number 2.
They don't get sold.
With Rosen says it's gonna
Time
happen.
now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
In the recent Wild fan survey at The Athletic, the question was asked, Bill Guerin is entering his 7th season as Wild GM. How would you rate his performance? 61% of the vote said more hits than misses. 25.9% of the vote said more misses than hits. 7.4% said disappointing. And 5.7% said excellent. Common, how would you rate Bill Guerin's performance as Wild GM?
Can I defer to you for 2 reasons? One, you follow the team much more closely than I do, and I'm really enjoying my lunch right now. Because I don't know. I mean, I would say I think he's been a height. I'll have to buy into the being handcuffed by the Suter-Parise contracts, as everyone seems to suggest that, and I guess it's true. I don't know how much responsible he is for scouting and finding players. I'm not, look, great guy, I'm sure, but I'm not ready to say that, boy, give him a contract extension. What do you think?
Well, is it weird that he's entering his 7th season and I still kind of have like an incomplete?
It's not weird. I was surprised with
Right?
7 years. It doesn't seem
Like you should think after 6 years going into 7th years as a GM, you should have an idea of how good or bad they are as a GM. But with Guerin, as you just mentioned, he was handcuffed by Parise and Suter, which were not contracts that he signed the team to. And until they got rid of those contracts, which they mostly just did, even this summer, I can't even review this summer from him because that's still incomplete because we don't have, Kaprizov's not gone, but he's not signed. Rossi's not gone, but he's not signed. So I can't even properly review the offseason, let alone the last 6.5 years now. I will say, I think we'll have a lot more clarity to this question in about a year or so. Because if we're still in the same spot next offseason where we're not bringing in some big knockers, as Burrow would like to call them, then he doesn't have any more excuse. He doesn't have the Parise Suter excuse anymore. So I'm unclear right now, but I think a year from now we'll have lots of clarity.
all right. And
Be ready to make my rating.
all right, very good.
Question number 3.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the welfare of the Wolves.
SportsBetting.ag revealed their odds for 2025-2026 NBA regular season MVP. Nikola Jokic is your favorite at 5-2 odds. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is next at 13-5. Is it Luka Doncic or Doncic? What is that?
Let's go with Doncic.
Doncic.
That's
Luka
Rose's
Doncic
favorite pronunciation.
is 7-2. The Greek Freak is 9-1, and then Anthony Edwards is next at 11-1. So my question for you, Common, do you agree with Ant being the 5th favorite in terms of odds for regular season MVP?
Boy. I mean, he's got a lot of talent. But they keep talking about the maturity level. And, of course, as I like to point out, he's been in the league 5 years. I mean, he could be. He's immensely talented, but I don't know what it is. Does he live in my head rent free? Is that what it is? For some reason, it just doesn't seem like it's all there completely yet. That where it's like he can shoot from outside, inside. He doesn't have the people I trust say doesn't have that step back shot like Shai does, where it's either going downhill to the hole, then he's not getting the calls, and then he complains and he whines and gets technicals, and and then he can run hot and cold from the outside. But athletically, he's as good as they come. That sounds about. I would put those other players ahead of him. I guess a lot of it depends on how well the team does. Usually, your MVP is going to come from the team that either, it's going to be one of the better teams in the league. The Wolves, I think, going into the season will be considered a threat in the West. My guess is it's going to go. Everybody's going to say, well, you got to beat the defending champs. The Thunder's going to be ranked number 1 in the conference, right? Then I suppose, is it Denver and then Minnesota?
L.A.
Or then you have L.A. You got Golden. I don't know where Golden State. Did Buckets go back to Golden State? Is he there? He is, right?
I haven't heard of him leaving.
So, there's some, Houston. I don't know, but that's probably about the right spot for him. Would you agree?
Yeah, ultimately it's going to depend on, for Ant to be in MVP consideration, then the Wolves have to be one of the top 2, top 3 teams in the NBA. So sometimes it's actually more of a team thing we got to look at than actually Ant's individual performance.
There's 5, 3, 4.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Rosen have 2 more controversial Vikings news. Other side of the break, the Common Man program on the Fan.
It's a late night battle in Seattle as the Lynx take on the Storm tonight. Tip-off is at 9 p.m. Catch every play, every bucket, and every big moment, as always, on KFAN and the Lynx station on the free iHeartRadio app.
Couple 13-14 past here on the Common Man program. I'm Common, he is 10 to be. It's a Talkback Tuesday. We're going to try to, I must admit, and it's my fault because, look, it's the Common Man program. So it's not Tennis' fault. It's not Rosen's fault. It's not hyped up Helvy's fault. This is all on me. I don't take advantage of the KFAN Talkback like we should. I said, 6 weeks ago, I said, what we're going to do? We're going to start doing a Talkback Tuesday. We'll start collecting the Talkbacks. You start sending them shortly after 12 noon when we get started, and we'll sift through them. And we'll select a handful of them and play. And then a Tuesday goes by and I don't do it. But we'd like to do it because you probably notice, I don't think a lot of sports talk shows in the country even take many calls anymore. It's not how sports talk radio works. But this allows you an opportunity to voice your opinion, and you can do it in 30 seconds or less, which is good. Brevity is very important. Is that do I have the right word? Brevity? Brevity. Could you see if that's even a word? I think it is. There's levity and there's brevity. And levity is when, you're able to hover above the surface of the ground. It's really weird. Brevity.
Shortness of time or duration, briefness.
Yes. So the brevity is
opposite
important.
of Dan Barrero.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to give you
brevity.
So we are collecting those. They're easy to do. I explained it earlier in the show, and I think most people realize you download the iHeartRadio app, search stations, find the fan, make us a preset. That's the first thing you should do. And then after that, look for that microphone icon in the corner of the screen, tap it, and you will have 30 seconds to send us an audio message. We've got a lot of text messages that come in on a lot of different topics we've talked about. This one says, people seem to forget Billy Guerin got Gus Bus for Talbot, signed Boldy to a great contract, and got Faber and Ogren for Fiala. He's done well, I'd say. So there is he's
had some good moments. He's also had kind of tying up middle bottom 6 players and giving them no move clauses. We don't know Ogren yet. He's still he's still not a sure thing. He's like one of those Twins pitchers that we say is going to be great down the road, but we haven't seen it yet out of Ogren. Faber is a home run. The Boldy contract, he didn't draft Boldy. That's the biggest thing with Guerin is, he had Judd Brackett, who he got as his guy in charge of director of scouting, and hey, we're going to be nailing these drafts. And I think there's still a lot of hope, right? The prospect pool is very highly regarded for the Minnesota Wild, but we really haven't seen it come to fruition yet, right? Like Marco Rossi is kind of the first guy to step up to the big leagues, and he's been fine. But, right, like all their best players haven't been drafted by this regime. Kaprizov was drafted by Chuck Fletcher. Matt Boldy was drafted by, why is his name escaping me right now? Because he was here for like 1 year.
You're asking me?
Yeah, Faber was drafted by the LA Kings.
Well, this text message says exactly what you are. It says, so 6.5 years and Guerin has drafted 2 good players. What a hero. So I think he's saying what you are. I don't know if it's just 2 players.
I mean, and generally speaking, in the NHL, like you don't draft these guys when they immediately step up, right? It usually takes 3, 4, 5 years for a lot of these guys. So that cuts into a good chunk of that 7-year stretch. But yes, I still agree.
Paddack keeps telling everybody how much nicer the kitchen and everything is in Detroit. Next thing you know, he's going to be saying how much nicer their DC-10 airplane is than ours. Well, that probably will be next. It will be. It's Paddack is a night game, right? Paddack against who are we going to counter?
It's a 5:40 start. We got Zebby
Matthews on the hill tonight.
And tomorrow we're throwing Thibodeau.
Well, it's funny, Paddack. I think he's kind of overselling this matchup a little bit. It's not. I mean, he's a nice player, but he's acting like it's like Tom Seaver pitching for the Mets all those years, then going somewhere else and facing the Mets again, right? I mean, it's like how many games did he even start here in Minnesota? How long has he been with us? And it's like he's building it up to be, this is going to be great, facing my old teammates, be a lot of ribbon and a lot of that. I mean, he spent most of the time injured with the club. And if you'll remember,
maybe that's why he has so many comments about the training room and the trainers.
Maybe that's what. Well,
he spent so much time there.
Well, and here's the thing: is he was basically was being critical of the Twins by talking about how much better things were in Detroit. But this team kind of took a chance on him a little bit, didn't they? Didn't they give him a contract extension when he was still rehabbing? That's what I thought, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe I am because I'm off and am. But he and he's one of those guys. He gives you everything he's got, but who doesn't, right? So I don't know if it's when they traded Paddack, that to me, that was a yawner. Okay, that's fine. He hadn't done anything here he'd had a handful of good starts. And his first start in Detroit was terrific. I think he went 6 innings, gave up a run. It was fine. The Correa trade, are people upset about the Correa trade? Because I think that needed to be done. I think you needed to get out from under that. I know especially with the Pohlads, they had to really swallow hard. They're responsible for like $33 million over the life of the contract. They have to write a check for $33 million, or maybe they parcel it out a little bit at a time. But I thought
I saw the information on that one was Houston offered up their first baseman.
Okay.
And the Twins turned it down because they didn't want to take on that salary.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
See, I didn't see that. Great. But they needed to.
So it was just a salary dump.
Yeah, well, and it's not as though. I mean, I understand the Duran thing and the Jacks a little bit more because both players were, they were performing at a high level. Correa has just not. He had the nice postseason when he basically was instrumental in the Twins finally breaking that 0-for-18 streak. He's had moments, he's had stretches, but he certainly, if you're going dollar for dollar, you know, what he brought to the team, you talk about you think I'm overpaid. He was vastly overpaid for what he...
I think the Louis Varland one was a little curious.
Yep.
Because he was basically making like minimum wage, was under team control for 4 or 5 more years, is one of us, wanted to be here, and just got sent away.
They didn't seem to be as high on Louis as Louis was high on the Twins. You know, because
Louis wanted to start.
He wanted to be a starter, and they didn't want him to start. And then I think he kind of fell in line. They said a lot of nice things about him, but it is kind of a mystery as to why a couple of those guys that they still were paying peanuts, and they still had 2 or 3 years of control over why they didn't hang on to those guys. But like I said at the beginning of the show, and I tweeted this out as well, it's not like we broke up the 27 Yankees. The team was going nowhere. They were going to need to start over eventually. They overrated their players. That's what they did. All these young players that they brought up, they thought these guys, and it is, some guys make it, some guys don't. And for the Twins, more guys didn't perform to the level that they wanted than did. And the problem becomes, and I've said this a couple of times, I've come full circle today, many media members, they will just, I mean, and that's their job, I guess, to report what the front office and the coaching staff and the manager says about the club. But I think you got to take it at face value is what you got to do. Let's go ahead and take a break and come back. Rosen just 30 minutes away here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Mall of America's mystery cards are back, and we are bringing them to you all summer long. Come grab yours at KFAN events throughout the summer and wherever you see our KFAN street team. Then make sure to redeem them at Mall of America for fun prizes and big discounts. See full list of events at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
It's been a long time, Tennessee, since I even tried to access Talkback, and it took me a while here, but I am able to do that. You have some as well. Have you pre-read them, or have you not? You just know the ones that have come in.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I've read the ones that have come in. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, should we run a couple? We're calling it a Talkback Tuesday. It's never been done before on this radio station or anywhere. Someone says that PA does Talkback Tuesday all the time.
He does? I know he did Talker Tuesday.
I thought it was a Talker Tuesday. Yeah, that's why I don't believe he does a Talkback Tuesday. But we're calling it Talkback Tuesday. We think it's going to catch on and get really big. So, and it's the iHeart. You know, if you have the iHeartRadio app, you download the iHeartRadio app, or install the iHeartRadio app. So that's what you do. You install it. Then
sure.
What you do is you search for stations, and then you find the Fan. Then you find the Fan, and what you do is you set it as a preset, and then you go to, you look for the microphone icon, corner of the screen, touch it. It's 30 seconds or less to deliver some message. You got some, Tennessee? Should we take a listen?
Hey, Common Tennessee, this is Mike, Taste Fairy Apologist guy. Just wanted to give a shout out to Hope Kids. They've blessed my family numerous times over the last few years since we've lived here until recently when my 8-year-old son, Oliver, passed away suddenly and unexpectedly. Just wanted to say Brian from Hope Kids is one of the best humans I've ever known. And we got some amazing experiences because of Hope Kids. Thanks.
It was nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, we talked about Hope Kids. I've been hosting their tournament co-hosting along with Don Barry, the head golf professional over at Edinburgh, USA. 15 years we've done the tournament. Last year we just did the program and had some fun inside because it rained so hard the course was just flooded. So we did not play last year, but we still had a tournament, I guess you'd say, and we raised money. So they do great work. What's up next, Nana?
Hey, Common, Northeast guy here.
Northeast
just
guy.
tapping in on the Twins conversation. I think most fans are aware that this season wasn't the season. It's not the same as the year we made that little postseason run, but I think the frustration comes with the degree of the sell-off. You're trading guys that are under team control for a couple more years, and I think the return is just questionable on some of those guys.
Yeah, I guess you can make that argument. I don't know how much you can get in return. I mean, how much more were we expecting? I also had somebody say, saying, well, those players couldn't all be bad. Other teams wanted them. Just because teams want players don't necessarily mean they're taking a flyer to a certain extent as well. I mean, look, if you make a big league roster and pitch in a big league game or play in a big league game or bat in a big league game, you got talent. They don't just let anybody. Well, maybe they do sometimes, but they don't just let anybody come up and play. I think I saw a note where the Yankees just traded for a player at the deadline, and they've already sent him down. So sometimes it's yeah. So I don't know. It was unusual the way it happened, but to me, it was unusual and it was different. But do you remember when Doug Rose says, "No, I find it in keeping with 4 years"? That little comedy has it. I just find this in keeping with the way the Pohlads operate the franchise. I wasn't surprised by it at all. I mean, there were a few more players than normal get traded. Obviously, I don't know if I didn't see anything. Is that a major league record for most? And we're talking about players that were on the roster. We weren't talking about minor leaguers. These were guys that were on the big league roster. Almost 40% of the roster was traded. I don't know if that's.
I don't know what the record is, but
yeah, I don't know if that's.
I've seen like analysts and writers go, I've never seen something like this before in terms of a sell-off.
Yeah.
In terms of a fire sale.
Why do I keep getting a call from New York City? That's the third time that number's called. What kind of a scam is that, do you think? They're desperate for some my social security number, my banking information, or my my money. They want something. I wish they'd leave me alone.
I think Northeast guy's sentiment is my sentiment. And I agree with him in that we all knew that the 2025 version of this team was not the New York Yankees of 1927, I like to say. And so I don't think fans have a problem with them giving up on this season. But what happened was all these trades are having them give up on next season. And 2 years from now, it's a trickle-down effect of players that could have contributed. They weren't the 27 Yankees, but they also weren't the 2024 White Sox. I mean, this wasn't a team that was just bottom of the barrel. We need to strip everything to the studs here. There's some quality players here. If you were actually willing to do something in free agency, you could have added to this team and made them potentially a contender. So that's where I think the frustration is you chop the legs off of the future as well, not just this year.
Well, yeah, you're right. But to a certain extent, I'm not so certain that the future would have been bright with those players. Just because we have control over them and they show some talent, we thought Wallner, Larnach, and it's the trio that I always bring up. Larnach.
Well, it used to be Kirilloff.
Yeah, but now it's Larnach, Wallner, Miranda, right? Those three guys were going to be mainstays in the lineup, everyday players, day in, day out, that could hit for a little bit of power, could hit for average, could play in the field, and they were going to be really good. Well, no, not really. And so the players we did trade, I don't know, was Louis Barlin, because we had control over him and showed some talent, does that mean that he was going to end up being any good? I know what you're saying. I guess. I mean,
Duran's one of those guys I think is considered a world-class reliever.
Yeah, he is. He is.
And was under control for a couple of years at a reasonable contract.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Though I think he's going to blow his arm out soon, but that's okay too. So anyway, I guess I just the franchise. They had the 0 for 18 streak, and then they snapped it, and then they sold right away. So to me, it's just business as usual. So yeah.
Hey, Common Antenna, this is Randy from Silver Bay. Love the Grum.
Thank you, I do too.
Love the Fitzgerald. Anyway, I think the Milwaukee issue is a problem because that's going to tell all of these small market teams that, yeah, see, we don't have to spend millions to compete. So these outliers are the things that these small market teams cling to and tell their fans.
Yeah, I guess
that's been going on for years.
Well,
that's not just this.
Yeah,
Brewers.
that's what I was going to say. Other, small market teams have. Didn't Kansas City win a World Series recently in the last handful of years, or at least get to the World Series? Am I wrong there? I thought they did. I got to do this again. This one says. Common sounds very Rosen-like, almost like he's protecting pockets. I am the poster child for being anti-Pohlad in the way they run a team more than anybody. I just roll my eyes, shrug my shoulders, and shake my head with all this outrage. Where was that outrage last year, the year before, 5 years ago? I didn't hear any of you with that outrage. You liked the cute little club, and you bought into the Pohlad. Most of you bought into the Pohlad pocket protecting. Oh, we're just a small market. We don't have that kind of money. We need to have a salary cap. We need a salary floor. And you were just crying all the time. So, hitch up your pants. It's big boy time. You want to play with the big boys? The rules are the rules. Pohlads are worth $4 or $5 billion. Spend money. If you don't, get out. And spending money doesn't guarantee out. Here's the Rosen thing I'll do. Well, Yankees haven't won a World Series in X amount of years. Yankees haven't done this, and look at their payroll. It doesn't guarantee anything. You spend your money, you spend it wisely. And if you're a small market team, you strike while the iron's hot. Like you should have done after the 2023 season or other time. We've talked about it over and over again. There were other seasons where we get to the trade deadline, we're in first place. We got a pretty good club, but we're missing either one more starter, middle relief guy, another bat in the lineup. And instead of going out and getting somebody like a Duran, we'd always get somebody that was just okay.
How about there we had Bomba Squad setting all-time record in home runs, and we just need another starter for the playoffs. We had to rely on Uber guy, Dobnak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when
go and get a pitcher.
Yeah, that's when you're so. But there was no outrage then from people. No, it was just it's just too bad for us. We almost reveled in that.
Poor pitiful me.
That poor pitiful me thing. We embraced it. It was our out. It was an excuse. It was an excuse for the team. Well, you know how it is. We're just a small little market and we're trying the best we can. No, you're not. You're not trying the best you can. What's that bit I do all the time? I don't have the paper in front of me. 1 million is like 12 seconds and 1 billion is like 32 years or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think the biggest problem with the Pohlads, I really believe this, is I don't know how much of their vast fortune is tied up in commercial real estate, but a lot of it is, from what I've been told. Commercial real estate, I don't think that's a good business to be in right now. It may change. It's the old buy low, sell high. Maybe the time. I heard somebody I could have swore told me, maybe I made this up, that there's an office complex in downtown Minneapolis that sold for pennies on the dollar because people just want to get out because of the pandemic. People just don't need offices anymore. We learned, hey, you can just work out of your house. You can have a meeting at a coffee shop. You don't have to have a huge we've downsized. We used to have 2 floors in this place.
I'm waiting for the day we can do the show from our house.
Yeah, and that'd
be great.
Someday that's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's just going to, and it probably should. I don't know what our rent. Our rent here is. I don't know. I bet it's $20,000 a month to rent 1 floor. Now, is that the price now? I know that's probably what the price was when we first moved in. I don't know if they can still get that now. So with the Pohlads having so much money tied up in commercial real estate, it seems as though that, I mean, they divested themselves of their auto dealerships, right? Weren't they Carousel Auto? And all sorts of cars, those are gone. Do they still own Pepsi Cola, or do they get out of that too? They banking business. All of these people change. They buy, they sell, they trade, and so I think that's part of the reason why the Correa thing was, I think that was more not so much a baseball decision. That was just a business decision.
I think all of it was business decisions.
Yeah, but what I mean is
that specifically.
But what I mean is not just for the baseball team, for their entire portfolio. They're bleeding money in the commercial real estate. I would think anybody that's in commercial real estate, maybe they're not. Maybe they're making money hand over fist commercial real estate. Maybe there's only a fraction of what their portfolio is in commercial real estate. But I've been led to believe it's more than that, and so you do what you do. I mean, and if one of your businesses suffers it because of that, who's to argue with them, right? They're counting their pennies over there, and if they feel like we have to cut on all of our enterprises in order to not continue to bleed money, then maybe that's what they just say. Sorry, we know it's the most public of all of their fans have a vested interest. You spend money, you buy tickets, you go to games, you buy swag, you root for them, you watch them on TV, or listen on the radio. They're your team. You know, I mean, everybody remembers we like parades. We did in 87 and 91. So if they were to sell. Like when they sold their carousel, did anybody care that they sold their automobile dealerships? I don't think anybody cared, right? Maybe the people that worked for the automobile. Who would care? Sell a bank, all right. So what? Sell a soda pop company. Who cares? But when it's the baseball team in town, that's where people start to get fired up. So I don't know.
So 1 million seconds is 11 days.
Okay.
1 billion seconds is 32 years.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's it, because people would always, the Pohlad pocket protectors would talk about, how expensive it is and how much money it costs. We're a small little market. But then when you look, when you're worth $4 to $5 billion like the Pohlads are, those $1 million contracts, those are peanuts, man. They really are. That's the best way to describe it right there. And that's been the frustration. And we have said forever we don't expect them to have the biggest payroll year after year, even in the top 10. But every once in a while, a little something for the effort. Guys are playing for. I'll still never forget the quote that was more damning than any was when Johan Santana was the second year in a row, I think, where he was going to win a Cy. Did he win back-to-back Cy Youngs? He won three of them, I think, with us. And he was having another splendid year. The team was playing well. They were in contention. And we did nothing at the trade deadline. As a matter of fact, I think maybe we sold or something. And he said, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something to the effect of, this team's always just planning for the future, or maybe part of us won't be part of that future. Maybe some of us won't be a part of that future someday. And he wasn't. So why do I want to be here? If you're not trying to help us along, we need some help. That's why trade deadline happens. Teams, even the best teams, look to try to add to their bullpen or their starting staff or their everyday lineup, and to get that little extra oomph to get them over the top. Do we have any more?
Yeah, this is Willow. I'm just wondering what Common listens to on the radio on the way into work and on the way going home from work. Also, Rosen's a fraud.
I don't listen to the radio very often, but when I do, it's the fan. I'm locked in. It's on my presets. I love it. Yoga pants, breath.
I'm just always on the iHeartRadio app because there's so many options.
Well, that's it.
Shows to music to podcasts.
That's what I do.
The iHeartRadio app's unbelievable. And then I have my presets on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, I also have the comedy channel because I like to laugh a lot. So I have a comedy channel.
Can we keep that bit going by the time we get to the state fair so we can have the audience participate in the laughing while we do the vibe?
Yes, I think we have to do that too. Yeah, so I listen to all the fan radio. I listen to all the stations on all the shows on the fan. They're all really enlightening and entertaining, and they make me laugh a lot too. So I guess that's the answer.
Hey, Carmen, Tanner, it's Shane from Lafayette, Louisiana. Looking forward to the first preseason game of the Vikes. On the J.J. McCarthy, I say let him play. Let him play a few series. Game. He's 22 years old. Let the kid play. Thank you, Common. Have a good evening.
Yep, you too. Well, yeah, I understand the fear of somebody getting injured in a preseason game. If you don't play any of your starters, if Jefferson doesn't play, he doesn't need to play in the preseason. He knows the playbook. He knows how to run a route. He knows how to get open. He's got great hands. He doesn't need to play. There are certain plays. Do you think that Hitman needs to play any preseason football at this stage of his career? I don't think that's going to help him in any way, shape, or form. Once the season starts, these guys are ready to play, right? They should be ready to play. Especially, remember, most teams aren't playing their starters, so you're all on the same page, right? It's a level playing field, pardon the pun. It's not like, well, we start with the Bears, right? It's not like, the Bears, they played all their starters all 3 games, just like they're in midseason form already. They're not playing anybody either. But in the case of McCarthy, because he has not played any regular season, he played the 1 half last year. He hurt his knee in the game. We didn't know about it till the next day. He had surgery, out for the year. Since then, all he's done is participated in minicamp, OTAs, in some pushing and shoving against the defense of his own club. And I think they would like to see him against another, even if you're playing with some of your second stringers, you're playing second stringers. The guys on the other team, who do we play against? Houston? Some of those guys, they're playing as hard as they can. A lot of them are trying to earn a roster spot, for crying out loud. So it's like they have to try hard. It's not like they're going through any motions there. If you're a guy and you're a linebacker and you go, I want to be a backup linebacker on this club. I want to play special teams and be a backup linebacker. I better show something in this game against the Vikings, because if I don't, it's the team's going to pass me by. And let's face it, Tennessee, unless you're a high round draft pick like a Jeff Okudah, you're not going to get a lot of second chances. If you're a 6th-round draft pick and get cut by the first team, you might not ever play again. Now, you might
try to find a practice squad.
Yeah, you might find a practice squad, or you might get a call late in the year when a team is injury riddled, right? And they might call you at the end of the season. One last text message real quick. This one says, business decision due to declining profits in commercial real estate is not how they are messaging it. They are trying to claim every trade was a move towards the future when some were clearly a salary dump. They're not going to admit they're struggling in their other business. You don't do that kinds of thing. Well, of course they're not going to say, we're doing this because we're starting to bleed money all around Pohlad Inc. So you spin, that's spin doctoring 101. So you say, you know what? Here's what we're doing is we're just, well, you heard Falvey say it. He said, this is for the now and for tomorrow. We acquired some really good players. What he really meant to say is we're a terrible team in a terrible city. We'll break. We'll come back. Mark Rosen joins us next here on The Fan.